Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's Jordan here. Today we're going to continue working on this massive MILS plate here in the Lego City. It's the hill slash cave and cliff edge. Pretty excited about continuing this project because this landscaping project is going to sort of recreate this whole corner of the Lego City by the beach. You know, like it's going to connect the campground with the old fishing store and the lighthouse and the beach, and it's just going to be awesome. I love Lego landscaping, and that's why I wanted to do this today. Okay, so I think the first thing I'm going to work on today is detailing the cave because it has some flat walls, which don't look very realistic. Also, it's got this little bit of water trickling in there. I want to do, I don't know, I think like gold mine, rubies and gems and sapphires. Just want to put a bunch of different precious minerals inside this awesome looking cave. I think I'm going to take some of these bricks out and replace them with snot bricks so we can actually put some plate like on the walls, and then I'll be able to put the slopes vertically, because if I build it up like this, it's going to take up a lot of room in either direction, right? So this cave surface area like on the ground is going to become really small very quickly because this takes up a lot of space. So I'm thinking if I snot mount some plates to the walls of the cave, I'll be able to conserve space and also make it look better. So I've started going through my inventory and I'm just seeking out anything that's like transparent, right? Like all of these interesting colors to represent all of the precious gems and metals. Also, I've got some gold elements, some silver, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, diamonds, gold, silver, anything precious. And I'm going to try and build the cave with some slopes on the walls and slopes going upward and embed these things inside the cave as if they haven't been mined yet. So I'm going to try and just make this place beautiful with these pops of transparent colors absolutely everywhere. It's just like a little hidden treasure cave. Something I've seen some creators do is actually create this style of rock work with different styles of slopes, because of course you can get regular slopes, inverted slopes, and then you can get curved slopes, right? I would love to try and build some caves and some cliff edges and mountains and stuff like that with curved slopes, but I don't really have a whole lot in dark gray, that being ones like this or like this. And I've seen these people take these pieces, like just a ridiculous amount of these curved slopes in all different shapes and sizes, and create some incredible like cliff edges that just look amazing. It's something I want to experiment with, but in order to do that I'd have to order a plethora of these. But it just looks so good when it's like this wall that's pretty much all like snot mounted like this here, but then it's covered in curved slopes rather than inverted and regular slopes. And it just looks so good. I want to try that one day. Maybe in one of my future Bricklink orders, we'll order a bunch of those so we can try a different style of rock panel, because this looks good. In fact, this looks better than this here, because this is rock panel as the base and this is brick as the base. This looks substantially better than the rock panels, I think, but it's more part intensive. But yeah, I for sure want to try and build something with those curved slopes in the near future. Just continuing along here, throwing down a bunch of different slopes and all those different precious gems and metals. I think it looks all right. I think it's going to be a pretty rugged cave, just starting with the dark gray, and then I'll probably add some accents of light gray. I don't know what kind of plant life you would find in here. Maybe I should just integrate some dark green plate and dark green brick, and that can sort of be like moss and stuff that would be growing in a cave where there's no natural light, right? So I don't know what style of plant life I should add to this area. I think it's a good start so far. It's looking sort of like blah. I don't really know what to do with a cave. Like, it's just all slopes and stuff. Like I said, I wish I had some curved slopes because I really want to try that style of rock work. I did find these on the pad wall the other day. I'm hoping that's going to add a nice pop of color. Just going to use a bunch of these smaller 1x2 curved slopes. And I also added some dark browns, reddish browns, and some dark greens on the floor there just to add some color as well. You know what? I think it turned out pretty nice. I added some coverage to the cave entrance there using some limb elements just snot mounted in place there. It helped conceal this cave that's full of precious metals and gems, right? Also added some water detail with some more plant life throughout the cave. The brown and dark green definitely add a nice accent of color there. All sorts of slopes. It's not mounted to the wall on those plates, and then somewhere on the ground as well. And just so many transparent elements sort of stuck into this cave. And those curved slopes in light gray and also the cheese wedges in light gray really do a good job of adding some accent colors as well. Plus I added Easter egg right over here. Look at this. It's a pirate who's got the shards of Narsil, and there's a treasure chest right behind him full of treasure. And then just some diamonds over here, some plants and stuff. I think it's what I wanted it to be, you know, just like a cave full of precious material, right? One guy found it, but he didn't make it out alive. But it definitely looks a lot better now with all of this added detail than it did at the beginning of this video, that's for sure. Now that the cave is pretty much done, same with the creek here that flows into the ocean, I'm looking at the hill portion of it now. I think we've got to add some detail to this hill. It looks pretty uniform. It's just the 2x10 plates. The foundation is there, right? Like, it's pretty strong. It's ready for detail, so that's good. But it's just like same. I think we got to add some browns for dirt. We've got to add some flat spots, maybe a little bit of rocks here and there, trees, all that different type of stuff has got to be added to this hill because, of course, this isn't done yet. Also, the cave top is this random color here, so eventually I'm going to have to blend that in so that color is just sort of blended to the hill, and maybe introduce some of these colors into the hill as well. The first thing I decided to do was add some reddish brown plate, and that's the trail that's going to lead from the bottom of the hill to the top. I've started adding some miscellaneous plate and bricks to the hill just to give it some flat spots, and then I've blended in using some slopes and stuff like that and other various green plates. The more plate and everything that I throw at this, the better it's going to look, the more natural it's going to look. So I'm just going to go through all my plate drawers and add all sorts of different stuff, and also all these different curved slopes and everything too. So it's just going to be very part intensive, time intensive, just sort of throwing things down randomly to make it look good. I ended up covering the cave top there with that standard green color that I have so much of. I don't have very much of this green color there in the smaller plates, but I decided to build the cave top with the larger plates because that's what I have most of. I also added some dark green accents to the hill and a bunch of these cheese wedges, more plate, some of these curved slopes, and yeah, it's just really coming along nicely here. I was planning on adding some more reddish brown, like dirt spots all over the hill, but I think that's going to sort of take away from the trail. I want the trail to be the reddish brown accent, so I don't think I'm going to add other reddish brown areas to the hill just because I want this to really stand out. I added some rocks up here, and that's sort of where the trail leads to. Maybe people will sit there and enjoy the view. I don't know. I think that looks pretty cool. Hill's coming along. I added these bushes. Now, one thing I'm not going to add until it's placed is trees, just because trees sort of get in the way when you're moving this big MILS plate, right? And also in regards to trees, during the days of the moving truck promo, I actually ordered all of the necessary pieces to build trees like this here from the A-frame cabin. Pretty much that exact color and that exact design. I ordered all of those pieces, and I'm going to use those pieces to create different styles of trees that are sort of that shape and that design and those colors, and those are going to be integrated into the campground by the A-frame cabin, and the green is slowly going to transition over toward the hill. So I'm not going to be putting trees on the hill until I get those pieces to build replacement trees for all of these, and then I can just move some of these trees on the hill. I think it's looking pretty good, and I can't wait to place it in the Lego City and sort of see what it looks like by the old fishing store and also the Lego Ideas lighthouse, because I want to place it here and see how it's sort of going to transition into the ocean and into the beach. I wanted to add some more details before I attempt to place it in the Lego City. So we already have ducks. I decided to add some more animals. Found this cute little turtle there. Also some squirrels and rabbits. A hedgehog on the path there. Another squirrel. Some more squirrels up here. A bunny. A bird. And a bear. And then as you can see, I added a bunch of saplings and bushes and little things just all around just to make it look a little bit more complete. But like I said, I'm not going to be placing trees until it's actually placed and I build those other trees. Also, I added a couple things to the cave as well. You guessed it, a bat and also a spider. I'm also just going to clean up some of this rock work on the back here, better blend this in with some cheese slopes and everything. And then also all of this green exposed base plate back here has to be gone because that really doesn't look good when it's in a MILS plate system, right? Can't really have exposed base plate. Everything has to have at least one layer of plate on it. Can't just have base plate, so I've got to fill all that in as well. There we go. I think that looks a little bit better. I also beefed up some of the slope work so there's less like flat gray walls, and I added some green bamboo there so it's a nice pop of color. I'm out of these cheese wedges in light gray, so it's unfortunate. I'll have to order some more of those because those do a good job of breaking up the color as well. So you can see it's sort of lacking over here, but I did use more of those curved slopes as well. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. I'm pretty excited about that. Looking good. I think it's ready for placement now. Got some cave detail, we got the trees, we got some animals. I think everything's coming together pretty nicely. Yeah, let's go test it out in the Lego City. Actually, the nice thing about the placement of it is I can pretty much move everything out of the way and then slide it into its spot because all of this stuff is all module, right? So it can just be taken out of the city. This can be get out of the way, and then I can place it here and just slide it into spots. So it's really cool. Oh, you know, that's the other reason why I didn't necessarily want to put the trees on as well, because a lot of the trees are held on by 1 or 2 studs. So when I carry this thing over, the odds of them falling over is highly likely. So it's easier to put the trees on and then put it in spot. Just like any of the plates for the campground, right? I would for sure rather just place the plates and then put the trees on. And if I ever like brought that to a convention or something, which is doable, I would have to remove all of the trees, put them in a container, and then bring all the plates. And then when I set it up at the convention, put all the trees in, which really isn't a huge task. So yeah, it's actually pretty rock solid. I was able just to pop it right in spot there. One last look at the cave before we seal it up. And there's Harold with his treasure. I don't know. There we go. His name is Harold, I guess. Eh? But yeah, it looks pretty good, eh? I do have to finish that MILS plate behind those cabins there with some green plate. I don't know why that's destroyed. Oh, it's because it used to be... What used to be there? I don't know. Something used to be there. I had to like destroy that plate. I don't know why. But I'll re-MILS plate that right away here. Yeah, let's pop that top back on and then put all these Lego ideas back and sort of... all the Lego ideas sets back and sort of build this area. It's unfortunate that I don't have any more half blue base plates. It doesn't really matter though, because when I redo all the ocean here, it's all going to get topped with plate, specifically the plate that I found in the pad wall the other day, right? And we're going to create this really crazy blue water here. I'm really excited about that because that's going to be so cool. And it's going to be blended into this area. I think the lighthouse is going to be positioned there, or maybe like half base plate away from that. So more like that. And then I've just got to like plate all this all off, tile it off, connect the water, have our rocks transition from here into there. I've said this before in videos, have this as all like a rocky area over there. That's going to take probably an entire day though. And I can just hear my kids screaming upstairs at this point. It's 4:30, so they're going down for nap time. So I better help with that, and then by the time I'm done dealing with that, I just truly won't have the energy to tackle this project, because doing the water and all the rock work here is very part intensive and actually going to take quite some time. You guys have been around for a while. You've been watching my videos. You know how much rock work I've done, and you know how full this used to be. Like, this thing used to be brimmed, plus I had additional bags, which is right here. These are all my gray slopes, and I have used literally thousands of gray slopes, but luckily I still have all that there, so I'll probably use pretty close to the remainder of that to do all this rock work in here. It'll be very similar to the rock work that we did in the corner right there, sort of like that, but there'll be some water mixed in it, sort of trickling into the cave. There are places like that where it's like all rocky and rough beach, right? So it's like nice and smooth beach, and that's like all rocky and rough and leads up to the cave entrance. And then this will all be water here. Maybe I can put a really nice boat here of some sort. I have to decide which boat I'd want to put up there maybe Bowser's ship. No, no, I'm just kidding. Maybe some sort of yacht or something. Or if I ever build a custom yacht, maybe that's where it can go. Or we can just put a couple fishing boats or something. Then at least where the harbor used to be, at least there's a presence of some boats, right? You can have 1 or 2 boats and maybe do like a really detailed way of integrating that boat into the water. Maybe have it like inset into the plate and into the tile so it actually looks like it's submerged in water. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, one day at a time, and we'll get back to that in the near future. But tomorrow, as I've said in previous updates, I'm going to work on the interior details of that. And then I'll work on this relatively soon as well. I love the way that this is all coming together here, and I can't wait to spread out those trees. Yeah, super cool. So there we go. The details on the hill are now there. Cave, hill details, and eventually trees, and eventually water, and all that will be done. Then once this is done, we've got to transition onto the beach. I want to give my beach an upgrade because this, honestly, like this wave and the look of this water and the look of this beach has been moved around a lot, but is actually in its original design from when it was over here. Remember when I had the beach over here? Yeah, so it's in dire need of, I think, like a refresh, just like an upgrade, just make it better than what it's been forever, right? This is what you see when you walk into the Lego room. Looks good. I love getting down into that perspective. And I want this to I want it to look very presentable, and it is, but I think it just needs an upgrade. So yeah, and then once that's done, this is done, this is done. This corner of the city in the downtown core is pretty much done other than the canal section there. And then, yeah, we can continue on the mansion and then eventually the amusement park. I love the process. It's such a cool process, Lego City building. It's such a commitment. It's a commitment, especially when you go with the MILS. The MILS is what makes it take so long. Like back in the day when I didn't use MILS, I'd be able to just slap this together so fast. But it's the MILS that makes it take much, much longer, but looks so much better. Everybody, that is the end of my rant. Thank you so much for coming on by. Let me know what you think of the hill by commenting below. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Thank you so much. Farewell.